The kaleidoscope pattern can be traced back to the early 1930s. Capper's Weekly, a farm journal, was the first to publish it, followed shortly by the Kansas City Star. Oh, it was known by such picturesque names as Golden Wedding Quilt. How about Massachusetts Priscilla, or this one, Sugar Cone? I like that name. Well, these are some of those early drawings. Now, this is the original block right here with those 8 triangles and then the 4 corner triangles. But you can take those triangles and just go ahead and put stripes in them like this one. Or how about this one? Triangles out of triangles. Ooh, that one looks tricky. Well, this quilt maker from the 1930s and 40s took that pattern and did the striped variation. Oh, and all these bright, colorful scraps. But she didn't know our little technique for making the center straight across. Nice flat center in it. Well, from a colorful pillow to a wonderful, colorful quilt. Oh, it's just beautiful in all of those purples. And look at the watercolor background. Now, it's a queen-size quilt in the edge block layout. Oh, it's just great. Well, I really like that pattern, but I didn't want to make one with such a strong pattern. So I went ahead and used some watercolor fabrics. Ooh, it's just wonderful. Now, right in the center of the quilt with those 9 blocks, you see the same blocks I taught you with the star center block and the star background block. Only I used all lights throughout it. And then I went ahead and laid it out with edge blocks around the outside edge. Gives a completely different look. Now there's 3 different designs in the edge block pattern, 3 different blocks that we need to make. The first one is right here. This is the corner block. We'll be making 1 for each corner, 4 of those. And then this block right here is called the edge block with star, because you can see that that dark blue actually finishes the star in the pattern. And then the 3rd block over is edge block without star. Oh, that light background just affords you so much opportunity for stippling and machine quilting. Let me show you how to make these blocks. These colorful pieces are just like the pieces of our lives, just falling into that little pattern. Well, I'm using multiple fabrics hand-dyed by Bonnie Tinling, but you might want to dig into your stash, and oh, that's the best fun. Well, when you get in your stash, you need to sort your fabric according to lights for your background, mediums for your centers, and darks for your stars. What a challenge. But all you need to do is have a ruby colored filter, and then whenever you hold it over your fan of fabrics, just move it along there and look, because the ruby filter will take out all of the color, and all you'll see is just values going right along there from the lights, the mediums, into darks. And then whenever you see that one piece doesn't fit, you just move it around till you get it together. Now, because I'm using multiple fabrics, you want to go ahead and use a different fabric for each strip. This is for my star center. So here I have the star on the bottom, one color, right sides together to it, another color. And then you just work in those pairs. You work with shorter strips. Maybe you want to use just a 1/4 strip or a half. This is the star. And then this is the center again. So stack that up. You need to have that stack. Plus, because you have all of those light background squares around the outside edge, you need to just stack up 4 pieces of light background. Ooh, and look at these. Are these not wonderful? And you work in pairs with these as well. There's 2 background pairs, right sides together, and then 1 more set, right sides together. Now, when I did the star center block, this was the piece that we got. Something that looks like this with the triangle for the background on the left, star on the right. Well, for one of the blocks, that block with that star point in it, we're just going to go ahead and cut it like this so that you cut it the same on that 5-inch strip. But whenever you sew it together, you actually flip this over so that the star is on the top. Let's go ahead and get this one going. See how you've got the star fabric on the top, that seam, 1/4 inch seam, and just push it through. Well, you can actually just go ahead and count those stars around the outside edge so you know how many star points to make. And then once you have this one through, you're also going to have the seam with the background pairs, those light background pairs. Let me grab one of those. Just light background to light background. Oh gosh, all kinds of extra sewing just for these edge blocks. Push that one through. Then I'll just do one more. These fabrics are just so wonderful. Watercolor designs, I love them. Now, whenever you take this star point block, something different here, you're going to actually open it up, but this time you're going to press that seam so that it's behind the background. Just finger press it like that so the seam's behind the background, or go ahead and take your wooden iron and crease it. Let me grab one of the background pieces. Background. Gosh, so many pairs here. The pattern of your life can get a little confusing, just like mine, huh? So take this, open it up and over, finger press it, or press it with the wooden iron. Now, you essentially have all of the units ready to go into those 3 blocks. So let me just move this aside, and I'll show you some of those pieces. Let's start right here. This is the corner block that you have, and when you look at it, you see that you need to have one of the background pieces, and let's just take one of these. We've sewn the pairs together, plus in addition, you need to have one more pair. Oh, look at that. Background, and then actually it's just like 3 pairs with the star and the background in it. And then you're just going to go ahead, add your background corners to it, and remember that little flower center right in the middle. Press it flat. Okay, that makes the one block. Let's go ahead and look at this block with the star point in it. Let me grab this one because this is our star point that we did right there. Now we're going to go ahead and take a pair. See how now we have 2 backgrounds beside each other, and we've never had that. And then right here in this section, you're going to have a background. And that's what's going to make that design for the star coming right off the edge. And then if you look, you're going to have to add your background corners onto each one of them to finish that off. Little flower center in the back, and square up your block. Now, there's just one more edge block, and this one doesn't have any star in it. Ooh, it's getting tricky. These are all tricky. Let's get rid of that star pointer. That'll confuse us for sure. You need to have 2 pairs sewn together in a half, just like this. You need to have one background and then a second background. And then that's going to give you the block, the edge block without any points in it. Background corners sewn around the outside edge again. Oh, such colorful pieces going together into one quilt. I'd like to give you some pointers on borders. Now this is the 9-block overall pattern that I finished. Oh, I just love it. The only thing is, it looks just a little incomplete. Where are those points on those outside stars? Right here. Looks like I'm missing some points. Well, it's pretty easy to do, and this is a variation that you might want to try before you actually add those borders on. If you take a 5-inch piece of fabric and a 5-inch wide piece of fusible interfacing, this is the smooth side of the interfacing, you put the right side of the star of the triangle right sides together to the interfacing, just like this. Oh, it's hard to tell. Those two look like the same piece of fabric, but it's rough side against right side of fabric, and then sew with a 1/4-inch seam right up into the point and down, but leave that wide end open. Ooh, this is so neat. Then all you need to do is just go ahead, take your triangle ruler. You might as well trim your seam just a little bit smaller so that you don't have so much on the inside. And then all you need to do is just take this point and just pop it right side out. Ooh, this is the easy applique method of doing it. Now once you have it turned right side out, take a ballpoint bodkin and just poke out that point. And before you're done, ooh, where's that stiletto? Got to have crisp points on here. And then from the outside, just pick out that point so we have a nice crisp edge. How about the wooden iron? Gosh, you just can't do this quilt with all of these different tools to help you out. Use the wooden iron and just crease those edges so that the interfacing is right underneath. Now, think we're ready to go on. So take the point and just place it right in this spot, right sides together to the quilt top. Get that, oh, it's so wonderful because it just rolls right into place. And then all you need to do is just pin it in place there and pin it in place there. Okay, and move over to the next one. Right here we need to have another point. We'll go around the outside edge of your quilt and make as many of these triangles with fusible interfacing and pin them in place, and then you can go on to the borders. Well, I decided to use a 5-inch wide strip of the background fabric. Ooh, I thought it would just float those points in there. It's perfect. So take your background piece and line it up so that it sticks out 1 inch over the edge. Now we're going to square this up later so my salvage is still on there. Go ahead, let it stick out 1 inch on that side. Let's just pull it along here, line that up, keep it flat, and then right here on the opposite side, using your rotary cutter and your ruler, go ahead and cut it. Well, I'd use my rotary cutter if I could find it. Okay, get that all lined up right there. Trim that off. Looking good. Okay, now I like to pin with the quilt top on the top because I like to see the way those seams are going. I like to actually sew it that way. So just flip it over, and because there is some stretch in these pieces, lay it flat. Make sure all of those seams are pressed flat. I like to press the quilt on both the right side and the wrong side and pin it right along there. And then all you need to do is just sew right across there, and make sure as you sew that you catch that 1/4 inch the whole way along. Well, I already did the other side, so I'll just show you what it looks like. Right along here, sewn across, 1/4 inch seams perfect right along there. So I should have a crisp side. So when you fold it out, then here are these pieces that with the fusible interfacing right there, just ready to press into place. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Well, all you have to do, can't really set the seam with it open or we'll really have a mess. So just lay it down flat, and this time make sure that your seam is being pressed out behind your border. And with that fusible interfacing in there, just press that star right in place. Ooh, little steam will be great. This is a good way of adding points to your borders because if you are missing them, if you feel like the quilt isn't quite finished, a lot of people feel that way. They want to get those points in there. Easy way, nice steam, hold that down. Ooh, looking good. Now those points are going to need to be stitched down with some invisible thread and the blind hem stitch, or you could go ahead and hand stitch them down if you'd like. Looking good. So now, once you have that extra inch on the outside edge, this is the most critical part so that you have square corners. Take your ruler and make certain that you line it up with everything square. Square line right on that seam, straight with this edge right here. Okay, and then just go ahead and trim that extra inch off for that perfect corner. Now all I'm going to do is just go ahead, pin in the little points on this star, add another 5 inch with that extra inch on the side, trim it square. Now I've been playing with my fabric. That's one of my favorite things. And these are the borders that I came up with. I decided that I would next add a 2-inch border of the multi-floral fabric. That's going to be great. Now I wanted to have just a touch of color right after it before I put in a 5-inch blue. So I'm doing a folded border. Now this is this bright magenta color. This is a 1.5 inch wide strip that's been pressed wrong sides together. And all you need to do is just lay it right on top of in between whatever border you're going to do. It's going to be this one. I'm going to just lay it right on top of here and stitch just a 1/4 inch minus a few threads around all 4 sides, but you don't fold it out. You leave it laying flat, and then you just go ahead, and that is actually just encased in between the next border. You put it right sides together, stitch and fold it out so that you have just a tiny accent of color. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm going to get my borders on and I'll show you how to machine quilt this. The folded border added just that right accent that I wanted. Now I already have it layered with my backing, my batting, my quilt top right side up, and I'm already pinning it. And I'm using 1-inch safety pins and this pinning tool. And you need to select to pin away from where you're going to machine quilt. Now I'm going to go ahead and machine quilt in the background triangle. So right here, I just want to do all of my pinning in the star and in the medium triangle. So just take that pin, take a bite, and just close it right on that tool. Goes pretty quickly. Actually, you can go ahead and put all the pins in and then go back and close them once you've got them all in. Now, I have my machine set up with my walking foot. You might want to go ahead and put in some invisible thread in the top of your sewing machine, or just use regular thread, whatever you'd like. The easiest way to machine quilt this is through the background triangles, to take long curve sweeps from one side of the quilt to the other. It's much easier when you don't go diagonal rows instead of like turning and twisting your quilt around. So just take the corner. Let's plan to just start right up here. Just roll that up. Then once you have it rolled up, go ahead and just slip it right underneath that walking foot. Fold the fabric over so it doesn't get caught. You might want to use some bicycle clips or quilt clamps to hold that in place. Now I have regular, just old red thread in there so you can go ahead and see it, but you might want to put in some invisible thread so that you don't actually see that stitching. Okay, walking foot in place, drop your foot, and go ahead and lengthen your stitch. Actually, I like to do it about 3.7, which is a nice long stitch. And the easiest way to do this machine quilting on this particular quilt is a stitch in the ditch technique. And that just means that you just make your stitches go up and down right in the seam. See, I'm going to go right in here in the background stitch and just hold it flat. Just keep on turning it around. Make sure it's flat. And then as you get right up here, right at the intersection, helps if you have your quilt moving freely. Right here at the intersection, as you go in there, then just go right into the opposite side of that background triangle. Just keep on going right around like that. You can turn around at the opposite end and go back if you'd like, or just go back to where you started. Now once you've gone through one row of that curving through the background, go ahead and go to the outside borders and stitch in the ditch through those if you'd like, just to machine quilt it completely down. Let's see if I can go ahead and do this. Right along here, drop your foot. Let's see, let's go right on this border because you'll be able to see that one right well. Hold your hands flat, right through here, in and out. And then if you use the needle down feature on your sewing machine, right when you get to this corner, leave your foot in, raise it, and pivot. Now you could go ahead, do a lot of machine quilting in this white area. You could even do some stippling. That would be a lot of fun to do. But once you have your borders machine quilted, then you want to go on to your binding. And your binding comes from 3-inch wide strips that you piece together so it goes the whole way around your quilt. Plus you take them and then you fold them so that the wrong sides are in the inside. And all you need to do is just start right in the middle of one side, line it up like this, right along the edge. Don't trim away your batting and backing just yet, but using regular thread, just stitch right along there. Whoa, this thread's getting me caught in my work. Okay, line it up like this. Hold it firm, hold it tight. Raw edges matching. And then as you get down to this corner, You want to stop 1/4 inch away from the corner. Leave the needle in, raise your presser foot, raise your walking foot, turn it, and then drop your foot and back stitch off. We want to make a nice miter right in this corner. So right here, you take this piece and you fold it straight up on the diagonal. Now once you have it folded straight up, go ahead, line that straight across the top and fold it back down so that you have a perfectly straight angle going across there. And then just start right back on the outside edge, pick it up, keep on going the whole way around the quilt. When I add the binding, I actually like to put a little tension, little stretch on the binding as I do it. And once you have that the whole way around, all you need to do is just go back with your rotary cutter and your ruler. Go ahead and trim that up to the edge. Let's see if we can get this batting cut off right there, right along here. Cut it off right along the edge. Let me take this, and then this corner just gets popped out and folded like this so you have that perfect miter on this side, and on the other side all you need to do is just take it and fold it so that it actually covers that previous line of stitching. Now a lot of people like to go ahead and hand whip stitch or hand slip stitch this piece right here. Tuck that in and make sure that you cover that previous line of stitching. Tuck it in right here. Or if you would rather, you could go ahead from this side of the binding, just stitch in the ditch with invisible thread right around the outside edge. Oh, this is coming so well. Let me finish this quilt. Kaleidoscope quilts come in all sizes and variations. Sue Bouchard made this miniature 25 block quilt, and she even added the edge block pattern around the outside edge. Now she made these center triangles from 2-inch strips, and then these little corner squares come from 1 3/4 inch strips, and she even did some hand quilting around the outside edge. Oh, it's great. Now she also made this quilt, and it's a 1 block repeat. When you look at it, you see large green stars, and then again you see some purple diamonds. Now this is the block that's repeated, and it's actually the star background block, and it has purple corners to make those diamonds right in the middle. Well, this is my sister Patricia's quilt, and this is Regal Beauty. Now, she did 9 block overall in the center and then appliqued her star points on the first border. She made all 5 blocks exactly the same, but when she added her background corners, first she added it to the navy, and then she added for 1 block to the red. And then when she did this star background block, she did 2 with red points and 2 with navy points. And oh, that red folded border adds the finishing touch. Now Teresa made this one, and she calls it Royal Star. It's perfect for a contemporary home. Oh, 1 large central star in the green fabric with multi-florals, and then that large pink star around the outside edge. Now all of this light background is perfect for some machine quilting. How about some stippling? Because it just shows up so well in that light background fabric. Lucky created this one, and she calls it the stained glass prism. Oh, she loves stained glass, and so she used it in her fabric with some watercolor fabrics, 1 central point, soft colors in the middle, and then she finished it with 4 corner blocks. That corner just brings your eye right back into the center. Wonderful for a contemporary home as well. Now Pat Wetzel took that exact same design, used stained glass, but did some color variations, and then right in the border she used the triangles and finished it off with 3 right in the corner. Now you can make your adjustment right here in the framing border. Patricia looked at this one and she said, oh, I see water lilies in there. She's right. beautiful central point of the water, moving out into the pink water lilies, and then she went ahead and put some green leaves around each one of those flowers, finished it off with a folded border and some water fabric. Oh, it's just wonderful. Oh, these quilts are just like kaleidoscope toys, colorful pieces that fall together. So may your kaleidoscope quilt brighten your life.